you missed it, the God's Limits teaser. Genshin Impact lore. Let's do this. In the first scene, we see a woman talking about the rules of her world. The world she's referring to could be Teyvat, but there's another possibility. She could be referring to this temporary world created by Rhinedottir as the shade/ruler of life. True.
Abides no reason, for none are born by their own consent.
Yup. This is true in Teyvat with how the constellations dictate people's fate.
Death
Abide no reason. For it
cannot be defied, even by those who see it coming.
True, there's going to be a lot of this. This is only partially true in Teyvat, since those cursed by Renova cannot die.
Time abides no reason, for it deprives us all equally.
True.
Yet brooks not a second to be reclaimed.
Jesus. Teyvat's time is quite complicated. In the Abyss, it flows much slower, as seen in Skirk's quest. True, I wonder how quick it flows where they were. But it's still true that it still continues to march forward regardless of where you are.
Space abides no reason. The ruler of space stopped the golden-haired twin travelers and mercilessly tore them apart.
Jesus, dude. It's clear that Rhinedottir knows a lot about the twins from this. Yeah, she clearly does. Was she trying to get these temporary creations to write a story about the twins? The temporary creations to write a story about the twins. It's possible, so that maybe their memory lives on in a different time or space, I guess. To me, the voice that's reading it out sounds like M. Am I crazy for that? It sounds like a Hexen Circle member. Writing things in the stories does solidify the idea for future as well. I just don't know if that is necessarily the case in this situation. We know that one of the mages of the Hexen Circle, Anders' daughter, or M, was tasked with this role. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. But ever since M died, there hasn't been anyone else to write legendary stories such as hers in Teyvat. The Boar Princess story on which the whole Imaginarium Theater was built was written by her. And so was Durin in Similanka, who now finally got a human form. Were the humans in this scene an attempt at replicating the mage M from the Hexen Circle? I think it is very possible. Yes, I do think it's very possible. After all, Rhinedottir herself is also part of the Hexen Circle. Based on her creations in the past, recreating her friend M is not something she would consider wrong. Exactly! She doesn't consider that a sin. It would be just another experiment for her to discard after studying it. Okay, let's not make Gold out to be this horrible person, okay? The Paralogists of Our Conquest revealed that she had merged with Nibirius, the shade/ruler of life. And based on this animation, it seems like she's represented by gold, while Nibirius is shown by blue in the same body. Yeah, the DNA strands, the XY eyes, based on chromosomes. The floating DNA-like thing behind her changes colors based on who's talking as well. Yeah, this is sick, by the way. It shows later, but it like dims from blue back to gold when gold takes back over the body. So sick. Even this small light on her head changes color based on who we're looking at. Oh, I didn't notice that one. That's cool. True, I didn't notice that little detail. Her half black and white dress also looks like something that happened after the merge. So we could assume Rhinedottir's original appearance had a black dress with perhaps orange or blonde hair. Oh, bro, the orange hair. Bro, this kind of orange hair with the black clothes, it looks so fucking fire. I need to see OG Rhinedottir now. Well, we see Nibirius' original appearance in this scene before the merge with Rhinedottir. Yeah, which is very gold, white, and blue, of course. Originally had white hair, white dress with blue as the colors for her powers. Yes. It's very cool. Oh, I also just noticed that the symbols that are shown here kind of look like the quantum-looking symbols. You see it? These two? Interesting. Interesting. Very cool. This is when she creates the first Hydro Orc on Egeria as the heart for the Primordial Sea. Yeah, I didn't notice those. After the merge, their hair colors mix together to become orange/blonde. Yeah, it's got like a nice gradient to it. I'm unsure if the different colored eyes represent the two in the same body or not. I think it probably would. I do think it would. Because Calmians, like Rhinedottir, are supposed to have blue eyes with star-shaped pupils. Doesn't necessarily have to be blue, right? Or does it? Yeah, she don't have blue eyes, bro. I don't care who you are, that is not fucking blue eyes. Unless you're colorblind, then I do care, but they are not blue eyes. It's blue, bad lighting. Am I fucking crazy, bro? She isn't pure blood? Does that matter? We don't see these kind of eyes on her after the merge, so it could just be Nibirius' original eyes. That's also true. It could just be both eyes. You can also see that Tiberius makes the hands glow blue while Rhinedottir's makes them gold. Oh, fuck, true. I didn't even notice that.
You seem to wield my power as if it were nothing but a plaything for your amusement. Although merging with you has stripped me of agency, I shall still continue to voice my disapproval.
It was previously thought that Rhinedottir might have paid a price to use Tiberius's powers. But based on this conversation, it seems like Rhinedottir has complete control. Perhaps the price Rhinedottir paid was to accept the role of ruler of life in Teyvat. Probably, since later we see her attend the meeting that was exclusively for the Four Shades. Does this mean she's no longer part of the Five Sinners of Camrion now? Oh, fuck, good question, actually. Good question. Is she a sinner to the sinners? Jesus. Regardless, this is how the creator or mother of Rhinedottir and the Rift Hounds looks like now. The ruler of life's holographic powers also remind me of the Dendro element in Teyvat. Oh, interesting. I guess. Many Dendro characters like the Hida, Kaveh, Alhaitham can each share similar holographic effects, perhaps suggesting the origin of Dendro is related to the Shade of Life. Blah, interesting. Yeah, I could see that.
This looks more like Rhinedottir's doing. Please don't litter other people's spaces with your bizarre creations.
Rhinova, the Shade, or Ruler of Death, talks to Rhinedottir as if she's one of them. Maybe the Shades really do not care who takes their powers, as long as they continue to be Shades. As we know, Rhinova helped Natlan in the past to establish its rules for the Night Kingdom. However, the Heavenly Principles were very displeased with her for this act. Yeah, incredibly, like, very displeased is an understatement, bro. She was also the one who cursed Camrions with immortality, as we see later in the animation. At the end of Natlan's Archon quest, Capodanno forces her to merge with him. Forces her to merge him with the Lord of the Night. This was because she couldn't remove his curse of immortality, which was against the rules she upholds. Indeed, baby, indeed. She later also allowed Xbalanque to visit the Natlan of Present, as per their bet. Rhinova also has a very familiar design behind her. Oh yeah, very familiar design. Where have I seen this? But I'm not gonna let this shit go, bro. The statue is just of A, not anybody else. Stop trying to take it away from A. Ah! This design has been used throughout the game for various things that signify death or eternal peace/end. Everyone's very quiet now about that, by the way. The Staff of Homer was used in rituals to cleanse dead gods' miasma in the past. Bro is not letting this go forever. Hey, you know it, bro. There's always something with this guy. I gotta stick to it, bro. I gotta keep that up. And as you may have guessed it by now, it was used by the Shogun as a symbol of eternity and death of ambitions. Oh my goodness, but I thought it was okay, never mind. I thought I skipped the lore because I said this was referencing some of the shades, or one of the shades even, but crazy. This could suggest, oh god, sorry, it's getting very loud. This could suggest that this statue is a direct reference to the Ruler of Death. It even has the eye-light design that Rhinova has under her neck. Yeah, I was thinking, so my thing now is that I actually think this statue is representing not necessarily fiends, but the Four Shades as a conglomerate. I think the Ruler of Death, referenced by these. I think the clothing could be the ruler of something else. I think this could be the ruler of time. No, it's just A. But it ain't. Well, let's go. But yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. However, we still haven't seen how the three Moon Sisters look like, so this theory could be wrong. True. Could be. But it holds a lot more ground now. After expressing a dissatisfaction with Rhinedottir's experiments, we can see that her powers can even bring death to the space created by the ruler of space. Yeah, she's goated, dude. Perhaps her true powers are not exactly death, but instead causing the end of things. With all Aquino's past related to the Crimson Moon's powers, oh yes, she can also cause the end of memories. It's clear that the element closest to the ruler of death is Pyro-based. It's also interesting how Hu Tao, who deals with death, has eyes that are similar to Rhinova's. True, actually, yeah, the flower. Again, I think this does look more like a flower than a star, but it does also resemble a star in the middle, in the gap part, so I think both of those connections are very cool. But that is true. Very true. Among the four shades, Rhinedottir seems to be the most loyal to the heavenly principles. Yes, I did kind of gather that.
Find some way to pass the time, did I not?
Easteroth, the shade ruler of time, has been the most active shade in the game's story so far. Being worshipped as the Thousand Winds by the people of Monster in the past. Bro, do y'all think we're going to get another quest for that weird-ass time island in Monster? I hope so. That'd be so cool. It's clear that she's heavily related to the existence of the animal element. In Inazuma, Easteroth assisted Makoto and A, 100%, by letting them plant the sacred sakura thousands of years in the past to protect Inazuma during the Cataclysm. And thousands of years ago, when Enkanomiya fell into the depths, it was Easteroth who taught the people of Enkanomiya Light Realm's powers. Crazy, bro. It is with this knowledge that they created the Dainichi Mikoshi and repelled the Abyss. Ella Musk is up in here. What? Ella Musk's ancestor Jacob Musk theorized that even Hilichurls worshipped Easteroth. Honestly, they're so right for that. They're so real for that. It's kind of crazy. Does that mean to say that they would have worshipped Easteroth before the Cataclysm as Comrians? In 5.7's Archon Quest, she's the one who made it possible for Diredith of the past to meet the Traveler of the present. Even Venti is said to be born from the branches of time and Thousand Winds of time. Yeah, he's more suspicious than ever right now, bro. I'm telling you, Venti is the most sussy motherfucker in the game. At least one of. And do you know the most craziest fact about Venti and Easteroth? They share the same VA in every language. There it is, baby! EN, JP, CN, KR, every single language. They share the same VA. Her design and personality is also quite interesting compared to the other shades. Her hair disappearing like the sands of time at the bottom is still my favorite thing about her design, but I also love the sundial or moondial references. She has a huge clock hand on her long white hair at the back with another on the right of her head. Yup. Additionally, she has 5 other clock hands floating under her rings. Yes. And they all look slightly different too. Every one of these 7 hands have a unique design and could represent different aspects of her powers. Either that or different things in general. Like this star looks very... I'm just gonna let it play. I'm gonna let it play. Too much yapping, bro. Too much yapping. It's probably gonna get explained, and then people are gonna accuse me of pre-watching, even though this video literally came out while we were streaming. Among the 4 shades, she seems to be most tired and bored with her duties. I mean, she's the shade of time, bro. I can't imagine how many times she's been through all of this shit. However, she's also very sharp and notices someone's watching them almost immediately. Exactly. The one missing from this meeting is the shade or ruler of space, Asmodee. She's the unknown god who separated the twins and the one who caused the most destruction in Comria. Bro, it's absolutely nuts. Using different spaces as powers, by the way, is kind of insane. Like, she's literally launching entire ecosystems and planets at them. She is throwing worlds at these motherfuckers. Based on her cube-like powers, the element closest to her world would be Geo. Please don't do her like that. In the most recent Archon Quest of Space and Time for You, the Abyss Twin notices her portals. Indeed. Perhaps suggesting that she's still active in Tevat, but just not with the other shades. That is the case. Well, quite potentially the case. Another possibility could be that the portals appeared 500 years in the past, in the memory. Ooh, true.
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable, tainted by the ruler of space.
Seems like Asmodee is corrupting spaces based on Rhinedottir's words. Does this mean that she's corrupted by the Abyss, or perhaps something else? What if what?
She just switched sides.
Be a bit boring, but it probably happened. The idea of switching sides means there's an equally powerful entity for her to switch sides to. Is there someone who's equally as powerful as the Heavenly Principles in the Abyss? Maybe not in the Abyss, but again, it could be the Traveler. We probably are equally as powerful if we're a Descender that has the power to change fate, literally as a Descender, right?
Now there's an interesting idea. Better than being devoured.
Rhinedottir knows something about the fate of the 4 shades. Since the 4 are shades of Heavenly Principles who themselves are still asleep somewhere. Does that mean when the Heavenly Principles awaken, they will devour the 4 shades back into them? Bro, listen, I ain't gonna cap, bro. That is a fine dining 4-course meal. Christ. 5, technically, since Rhinedottir and you know, never mind. And in a way restore themselves to their full powers. If that's the case, then switching sides does make sense if the Shade wants to survive. True. It does, actually.
It's unthinkable.
What is?
Unless she loves her new master more than her own self.
In the past, during the Cataclysm, she did work with other Shades, but at present, Asmodee could be serving a new master and maybe under their orders eavesdropped on the twins. It could also be theorized that Paimon is Asmodee and her new master is the Traveler. I think that's the most obvious theory, but I kind of don't want that to be true. I want it to be something different. Imagine if Asmodee is working with, like, fucking Columbina or some shit. Like, that'd be so stupid, but it'd be so fun. However, if the portals during the 5.7 quest appeared in the present, that means Paimon was at 2 places at once. That is not unthinkable, by the way. That is entirely possible. So Paimon being Asmodee seems like a weak theory for now. I think it actually doesn't. I really don't think it does. I think the plausibility of being in 2 places at once is not far-fetched in the world of Genshin Impact with all these time shenanigans that are going on at this point. I really don't think it is. I think it's more likely for Paimon to be related to the Moon Sisters than the 4 Shades. I also like this theory more, but I still think Paimon being Asmodee is too obvious since the beginning of the game. I hope that's not the case, but we'll see. We'll see. If they do it right, it could be very, very cool still. Skirk's release has also revealed that she considers Alice as the sustainer of the world's borders. Skirk's... Yes. I mean, we kind of knew that before, to be fair. We did kind of know that before from the wing law, the glider law, which gives the impression that Alice could be controlling the ruler of space or using her powers. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that's the case. I think it is literally just that she's protecting the borders of Teyvat, not that she's able to, like, create the borders and boundaries and stuff. Sustaining them is one thing, but creating them is another. It'd be cool, but not necessarily. Regardless, now we know for a fact that Asmodee has been acting on her own in present times. Yeah. The animation also shows the jester, Pierro, the director of the Harbingers, in Nod Cry. We see a short scene of him in Kamriar when he was a royal mage of the nation. Looking badass as always, bro. At the time, he tried to stop King Ermin from tearing away the Veil of Sin, and failed. And eventually, Kamriar was destroyed and its people cursed. Soon after this, he blamed the foundational principles of the world and joined the Tsaritsa to create the Fatui.
Ah, yes. He's an old acquaintance of mine. I'm sure that working for the Tsaritsas helped him let go of his past obsessions.
Absolutely not. If I'm not interpreting this wrong, the way Rhinedottir dismisses his past obsessions as if it's nothing feels like a cold and cruel thing to say, especially when she's one of the 5 sinners. Unless Pierro is Vetafornia, bro. Who brought the Cataclysm to Kamriar in the first place. True. That is very fair. Unless, of course, Pierro was also pursuing abyssal powers like her.
The Cryo Archon. With her paltry powers, she dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
I love how they emphasize gaze so much and have, like, such lengthy pauses after it. It's so
Paltry
funny,
powers,
bro.
She dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
Renova really doesn't seem to like humans and Archons who go against their masters. Or master.
I wouldn't pass on that opportunity either.
Seems like Rhinedottir still thinks the same way she did before becoming a Shade. Of course she does, bro. Of course she does. It was a means to an end.
My dear Rhinedottir, you know I cannot allow you to think that way. It was purely hypothetical, Nibirius.
Of course it was. The way Nibirius immediately interrupted her from thinking against the heavenly principles makes it seem like there are still some things she can do to forcibly control Rhinedottir. Well, I think Rhinedottir probably knows, even though she's formed with the Shade of Life, bro. I think the Shade of Death could definitely put an end to her if she tried hard enough. I think she still knows she's not the most powerful, the most badass motherfucker in the room, you know, maybe. Maybe I'm coping.
I say it's time we intervened.
Oh.
Of course, to the extent permitted by the rules.
The rules. Even when stopping the Fatui, they are constrained by the heavenly principles. Rules.
I already know the price of gazing upon the gods. So tell me, what is the price of killing a god?
The price of killing a god is all of the aura you just farmed in that one singular scene. It's now clear that the Fatui, or the Jester, do not consider the Archons as their targets, but instead the Heavenly Principles, its four shades, and perhaps even the Moon Sisters.
The god stays silent, as if the thought had never once crossed his mind. To all those who dare not look up to the heavens, Her Majesty the Tsaritsa says this. Behold, even the gods have their limits.
Christ, dude. So far into that, the only gods that have been killed are the ones in the Archon War. Well, been killed? Yes. Died? No. However, Pierro does not seem to think of them as gods at all, and only focuses on the higher powers.
Per the Pale Star Edict, we are to retrieve the damselette from Nod Cry, whatever it takes.
Here we are, baby. It seems like the third of the 11 Fatui Harbingers has gone rogue and isn't responding to the Tsaritsa's calls. Damn, bro. She also appears to be glitching in this scene as well. Yeah, somebody pointed out like Alakino. For now, it looks like Columbina is related to the Moon Sisters, since she's in Nod Cry. However, even Dottore, the second of the Fatui Harbingers, the second is in Nod Cry. So can't he bring her back? Even Pierro seems to be in Nod Cry. Why not get him to find her? Bro, if we get to see all the freaking Harbingers in Nod Cry, I'm going to be so over the moon. It's insane. No pun intended. Or has this turned into a situation where the Harbingers are going against the Tsaritsa? Nah, absolutely not. The Pale Star Edict also seems like something the Tsaritsa initiated, not Pierro. Yes, that was the plan all along, right? I'm pretty sure even Tartaglia said that. Or was that... No, that was Project Stuja. I wonder if it's the same thing. Regardless, with how badly the Traveler lost to Alakino, who was the fourth Fatui Harbinger, they better come prepared to Nod Cry, since we'll be meeting the third and second now. Can you imagine a 2-on-1 fight, bro? It is, imagine, you do the story of fucking Nod Cry, and in the end, they're trying to, like, get Columbina back somehow, and then they both turn on the Traveler, and it's just the Traveler versus Columbina and Dottore at the same time. Oh my god, I'd fucking scream. That'd be so fun. The animation also reveals the new areas of Nod Cry as Pierro travels through them. And the music, by the way. This scene shows the huge mechanical construct with huge cocks That was an actual Freudian slip, bro. That was a dead-ass mistake. That was dead-ass a Freudian slip. Jesus Christ. With the this scene shows the huge mechanical construct with huge rocks floating around it. Jesus. Maybe this is the weapon Fatui have prepared to kill a god. It could be. I also think it just looks like a moon, though. Like a Death Star. These could be the outskirts of some island in Nod Cry. This looks like a very unique place in Nod Cry. Just what caused the land to transform into this? It could be so many things, bro. This ship seems to be part, and you can see Sumeru at the very back. Oh, interesting. This is probably how Dottore got here then, from Sumeru, right? There's this Hisi island with its mysterious bright light. I wonder if this is a ley line branch affected by Nod Cry's environment. Oh, that'd be kind of fucking cool, bro, if it is. I guess it does kind of look like a ley line branch, actually. Cool. There's some huge abandoned machinery in this area. Yes. This is very likely Nasha town of Nod Cry. Bro, the music and this aesthetic is giving me such good vibes. The Clank Clank Krumkaki craft shop that Anefa is from exists in this town. Indeed. I wonder if this machine at the center is the town's power source. To me, this looks more like a forge. Is that crazy? It kind of looks like a forge to me. The town itself looks like it uses a lot of metal, which suits this region's advanced technology. For sure. Thanks for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. I urge everybody to like and subscribe to Cat with Blue Hat, bro. They make incredibly good videos.